So, I just heard on the radio that Trump has revoked, or is revoking, or going to revoke Harvard's 501c3. Cut off like millions and millions of dollars given to Harvard University. And when you have a school that has like $53 billion in endowment funds available to them, why are we giving them money? Nope, sorry. That handout should be chopped off. No more money for those idiots. Harvard puts out nothing but scumbags, if you ask me. And I think, what was it, 10 Harvard staff or Harvard professors were donating something like 10% of their salaries to campaign against Donald Trump. Now, I could be wrong, but I remember I read that someplace on the big interweb. 10% of their salaries to combat Donald Trump. So do they deserve any taxpayer funds? Nope. I understand he cut the funding for NPR. I think that's awesome. Should cut the funding for Sesame Street. They all make more than enough money to be sustainable. And, the government shouldn't be in the business of paying, for Sesame Street and NPR. We have so many other avenues of information through the internet that we don't need NPR. We don't need them. There are thousands of YouTubers, thousands of folks on Rumble and other forms of social media. Let's not forget X, and X is even huge, and you have thousands of people there that are behaving and acting just like journalists, reporting the truth. And so what do we need NPR for? We don't. They need to just go away. And we can save a ton of money. And that's what we should be doing. So kudos to Trump. And something else I want to talk about was the Grand Rapids police officer, Christopher Shore, I think's his name. He shot that African American in the back of the head because they were struggling over a taser, and they very well could have been struggling over his firearm. And the officer, in my opinion, felt his life was in danger and drew his service weapon and discharged it into the I don't know if I can say it on YouTube, into the subject, which ended the confrontation. And I would have done the same thing. I wore the uniform for 8 years, and at the end of the day, I'm going home. Every night, I'm going home. And anybody that would fight with law enforcement to try to disarm me, whether it's my taser or my firearm, is attempted to cause great bodily harm to me, ruin my career, ruin my health, incapacitate me to the point where I can't perform or the functions and the duties as a law enforcement officer, provide for my family. Now, keep in mind, this Loyola guy was a criminal, like 3 or 4 drunk driving arrests, driving on a suspended license. He had an active warrant out for domestic violence. The guy had a total disregard for law enforcement. Totally. Let me tell you, if you're ever arrested and you're handcuffed and you're stuffed in the back of a squad car, get a lawyer, see if your rights were violated, and guess what? If your civil rights were violated, your constitutional rights were violated, you now have a huge lawsuit on your hands, and you're going to win in court. Okay? Because there's lots of cases that set a precedence for that. And so as a law enforcement officer, you better know what you're doing. When you take somebody's civil liberties away, i.e. freedom to travel, movement and you physically restrain them, gloves are off. And, in America, we have a right to go and do this and do that and blah, blah, blah. And so, it's like, yep, comply with the officer. Let him handcuff you. Shove you in the back of the car. Be respectful. And get a lawyer. If you feel that your rights have been violated, you've been unjustly arrested, take him to court, because you'll sue, you'll win, and if the department or the city has any balls, that officer will lose his job and probably lose his certification, where he can no longer perform the duties as a certified law enforcement officer in that state. And you win. You go home with a big fat check, and he's now got to go find another job. And so good luck with that. If you've spent 2 to 4 years in criminal justice and that's your degree, you're either going back to school or you're a security guard, one or the other. So to me, that's the greater victory, is when, and there are some dumb cops out there. I've seen it in 8 years. Guys that should not be wearing a uniform, should not have a badge, scared of their own damn shadow. And that goes for both male and female. I've seen it. And, I've seen some female officers absolutely scared of the dark and did not want to be by themselves. The moment they make a traffic stop, in Timbuktu, they're asking for a second car. And I know guys that did so much shit on their own. Fear was not a factor, and it was just amazing to work with guys like that, because they were just like, they weren't some of the biggest guys. They were some of the most tenacious individuals with the drive of, what, I'm not dying today. I'm going home today. You're going to jail, and just what an awesome experience that was for me. And still friends with some of those guys today, 3 of them. Some of the other ones, they were just dipshits, and they're no longer. Most of my friends are retired now, so but they're still my buddies, and I still love those guys to death. Do anything for you. I mean, literally anything for you. And anyway, so that's kind of like, it kind of went off on a tangent there, but I forgot the premise of this video. The initial subject line was blah. I don't remember. That's the thing about having a conversation. You can go out and have a conversation in a coffee shop with somebody, and we can talk about this, that, and everything else underneath the sun in an hour's time. And that's the whole point of, me having my YouTube channel, is to just be able to have a conversation, whatever crosses my mind, it's squirrel, it's that sort of thing. But it's just like, I just love, I love the country that we're in. I love the opportunities that we have, and I'm so grateful for the friends I have, and they're few in number, and there's a reason for that. And I just like it that way. I like to have a close circle. I don't want a big. I like all these people that have. You look on their Facebook feed, and you're like 15,000 friends. 1,000 friends. They're not friends. I'm telling you, they're not. Those are just people that are just nosy, want to know what you're doing. Looking into your social media profile and looking at your vacations, or when you go on vacation, or who you're dating or doing, or whatever, and it's just, nonsense. But the sun's out. Gosh, I had my coffee this morning. We had pizza for lunch, and I way overate. So I'm going to have to do something tonight. I went to the chiropractor. Oh my gosh. That did me some justice. I love my chiropractor. I've been going to him for 8 years. I said that on an earlier video, if you're watching and following along, how important that is. Chiropractor and a masseuse is so important when you're benching and lifting the kind of weight that I do, you know. You'd be surprised how many guys can't do their own body weight. You'd be surprised how many guys can't bench 225. You know, I can rock 225 out like it's nothing. And you know, and to some I'm considered an old man because I'm in my mid-50s. And but you know, the key to strength and longevity, man, is lifting, pumping iron. And so God willing, I'll be around for a long time. But if not, hey, you know, I'm looking forward to going home, looking forward to going to heaven. That's key. You know, don't store up your crap down here, you know, on this planet, because everything that you have here can be stolen, destroyed, rots, rusts, decays, gone. No getting it back. But heaven is forever. It's eternity. And what an awesome thought that is, man. I mean, think about it. What an awesome thought. Anyway, so I hope the officer in Grand Rapids is vindicated. And when somebody's out to fight you as a cop, their intentions are evil, because that's not normal. Normal people do not behave that way. You know? And this guy's a criminal. What, 3 or 4 arrests for DUI, failure to comply, domestic violence. This guy was a scumbag. And I can guarantee you, his last moment on earth, what he was doing, that feller did not go upstairs. You know, he's floating around in a fiery pit going, man, I should have done it differently. Too late. You only get one chance in this life. You know? Oh, that brings up another topic. You know, these people talk about, oh, I died for 30 minutes and I was with the Lord and God said, I'm going to send you back. Doesn't happen. That absolutely does not happen. That is not biblical. Show me in the Bible where God gives you a second chance. You know, I heard the Lord spoke to me and he said, I'm here to tell you he didn't speak to you. You know, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. And there's one death, one judgment. Period. So you got one chance in this life, you know, to make it right. And you wanna be as passionate as a lover as you can be, and love your children and love your spouse, and try to do the best things that you can, you know, even though you may not always, you know, hit it on the head. But man, as long as you are showing an A for effort, you know, the Lord knows that you're trying, and He knows your heart, He knows your mind, and you know, that's the best you can do, is to try hard every day. And this poor cop, you know, I'm so glad I was involved in law enforcement for the time that I was, and I got out, I think, at the right time. And it opened up my eyes to so many different things. I'm so glad for that experience. And I don't want to name names, but you know, one of the best guys I had, you know, some of the greatest fun with is, his name is John. The other one's Ed, and then there's my buddy D. He knows who he is, and I just had a wonderful time with those guys. Learned a lot, because each one of those guys taught me something, and they still use what they taught me today. They're all, you know, out of it and retired, and you know, I went on to a different career, and because I had to make more money, because there's really not a lot of money in law enforcement, unfortunately. There just isn't. And I was a young man, and I wanted to make some money and not have to worry about getting my brains, blown out, because of some libtard, these liberal mayors and liberal city managers and these spineless, feckless police chiefs that just want harmony and diversity and inclusion, and they hire all these people who are unfit physically and mentally to be in law enforcement. I'm telling you, you got to be on your toes when you're a cop, because there's times, man, you got to make a split-second decision. I mean, you only get to make that decision once, because you don't get a do-over. Do-overs just don't happen, and especially when your life or someone else's life is on the line. You don't get to go, playback. Let me try that again. Didn't happen. Anyway, that's enough of my little ranting and raving here. So please like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. I know I said a lot of things here, but if you enjoy my videos, let me know. And if you want me to touch on a specific subject or topic, or whether it's weightlifting or chiropractic, I've been doing that, for many, many years. And I'm not an expert on the subject, but I enjoy it. I'm passionate about it. We could talk about supplements, because I do that too. I don't sell them, but I take them. I'm a consumer of supplements. And, that's awfully close to the mailbox. And so let me know what you think. And again, like and subscribe. Doesn't cost you a dime. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video.